What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Wallet Monkey channel, where we give you all the credit intel you need to grow your wallet. Today, we are going to cover exactly what you need to set up with registering an LLC so that you can get yourself positioned to then get your Dun Brad profile or Dun Bradstreet number and get registered there. We're going to cover EINs. We're going to cover everything in this video. So everything you need to know to get the business started is going to be covered in this video. If you're liking this series so far, hit the like button, comment below. Just, again, it helps with the algos. That means so much to us to help grow this community. And this series is really just fueled off of you and how much you want to share. So we're putting it out there. We're doing massive amounts of research to get all this compiled and organized together for you. So yeah, let's dive right in. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set up some sort of entity. And that could be an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, a partnership, business lending and, fintechs. It has to be some sort of entity. Some you can get away with doing a sole proprietor. That's like a whole nother topic to talk about, where you can kind of get away with trading under your name, because a sole proprietor is really just you using your social security number, but acting as a business. You can get away with that to get larger limits. That does work. I know that there are, funding companies that do that. That is their whole specialty. That can get you higher limits than going out to be a consumer. I would just suggest that it's not really you trading under a business name. It's not protecting you in any sort of way from liability. So it doesn't really make sense to do that. I would suggest to get into some sort of entity. And there's two ways to do this. You can set all this up yourself. You can jump onto LegalZoom.com right now, and you can pick the state that you want to, set up in, and you can set this up. And I think for probably like $70 to $100, you could get this set up or have somebody help you. And then the only other thing that you need to do is what's called a state filing fee with that state, and you got to have somebody else do that, or you go do it yourself. And that's anywhere between, I'd say, 120 and 150 bucks. So for very little amount of money, you can get started with some sort of LLC or corporation structure at a basic sense. Now, if you want to go more complicated, you probably want to, and you don't know, you probably want to get some sort of advisor. So the profile itself, to then go and get a DUNS number. And really what you can expect, every bank is gonna want, everyone's gonna want this information, so you gotta go get it. We go and set up the entity, right? Then we do our state filing and we get our EIN number. Okay, we get that EIN number by filing in the state and submitting to the IRS. Now we got our EIN. What else do we need? Well, to even get the DUNS number, we've gotta have a certain amount of information. First thing we need is a phone number. We need an email, a website, and a physical address. Let's cover these one by one. Phone number. It's not gonna work for you to use your cell phone. Don't do it, okay? You'd be way better off getting a phone.com account or any other ones. There's like Grasshopper, there's a million other services, and they all sell for about the same amount of money. My suggestion would be, because they sell 800 numbers and localized numbers. Wherever the state is that you registered in, you should at least get a localized number. And that will just forward to your cell phone. The reason why is because they know if it's your cell phone, it's going to register that way, and that will negatively affect you for different things down the road. And it's also just not a good look. Like, you're answering, like, who is this? Is this a friend? Is this spam for business? Is this spam for, personal side? Like, just separate those two things, but also to understand that can negatively affect you with getting credit on the business, okay? You could also get an 800 number or both. Like, I think both, you're probably looking at about 30 bucks a month would be what you could expect to spend to get an 800 number and a localized number. Again, if this is a real business you're looking to set up, you probably need both, right? So you've got a toll-free option and you've got a localized option. And then what happens when they call in is it's just like, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, and then it just forwards to, you can have those forward to different cell phones. So you can have them forward to different departments or different, call centers or whatever you're doing for the business, right? Next, address. This is another area where people screw this up. And there's so much data about this, I don't understand why people are still doing this. It's really just because they're trying to bootstrap this, tap into huge amounts of credit, and they're trying to be lazy. And so they're not paying attention to the things that they should be paying attention to. You have to use a real address. You cannot use a PO box. You cannot use a UPS store. You can't use something that's not a UPS store, but it's the same thing, right? They will know. Because what happens, the first thing that they do is they sync with a database to pull up if it's a UPS store or mail solutions or whatever they are, right? You can't use it. That's the best way I can say it, okay, is you can't use that because they're gonna know. And they're definitely gonna know a PO box that's at a post office or something. So you're not going to get away with it because all that's already registered. They're going to not allow you to get a DUNS number. And this is going to negatively affect you with everything you do, from setting up a bank account, a basic bank account, all the way on to getting funding. So just stop it. Don't do it. All right. There's better options. So you could set up Regis, which is like you're renting office space, but you could also just rent a mailbox there. And I think there's like WeWork locations and stuff now. Like I don't know what any of that runs price-wise, but Regis is probably like $50 to $100 a month. Or going back to what I talked about before, is you could use your attorney's address. If you get somebody who legally helps you set up the entities, you can use their address. Sometimes they'll charge you, sometimes they won't. You could actually cold call an attorney as well and just have them do mail forwarding for you, and that would also work. Even though you went out and set up your entity yourself and you just wanted mail forwarding services, a lot of them will do it. So now the address is registered to them. That's okay. You might get questioning with, again, some of these lines of credit like Home Depot, Lowe's. I remember that like while I was on the phone with them, they were like pulling up the address and they're like, oh, so the Anderson Business Advisors? And I was like, nope, we rent space within that. And because we did, and they actually did have physical space within that, but it was definitely like bumpy, right? And so that was not really the best thing to do. All right, next, website. So we've got to have a website because we've got to submit that to Dun & Brad, and also too, we need to show that when we go and set up bank accounts sometimes. Bank accounts don't really matter, but loans and different credit products will. Because what do they need to see? They need to see that it's a real business. So we want to have that website established. And so you can host something yourself. You can use Squarespace. You can use one of these kind of like, not credit builder, but website builders. They're all, somewhere between $19 to $39 a month to expect. But what you really need out of that, the key piece, is you need an email. You need a local email. So like, I'll give you an example, j@walletmonkey.io. You need your first name or your name at thewebsite.com or .whatever, and that needs to be the email that you use on the Dun & Bradstreet profile. That's the best way to do it. Also too, this will be a requirement within different credit vehicles and tools, right, within banks. So you're going to need this, but you also need it for the Dun & Bradstreet profile itself. They won't let you use a Gmail, Hotmail, etc., right? So you need that. And so now that's everything you need, and you can submit that to get your Dun & Bradstreet number and profile set up, which most creditors to some degree use this. Like I said in previous videos, they've got 235 million businesses that they have data on, so they've got a lot. 90% of your trade lines report to Dun & Brad, okay? Because they're either doing it directly through Dun & Brad or through the SBFE, which makes its way to Dun & Brad. So a lot of that data is getting there. So I want to leave you with 2 additional pieces of information that you need for when you're first setting up. First thing is again, if it's a real business, then set up a Google My Business. That's what it's called, Google My Business profile. This will help when people are searching within the Maps app on their phone to find you. So people can go there and leave reviews. It's very hard for you to get them removed, keep that in mind. But again, if you're providing a service, have an actual business, and you want to point people somewhere to leave reviews, that's a way that you can start to really, really crush with a small business of any kind, is having a Google My Business profile set up and having people leaving you reviews. The next thing I want to touch on is, to get started and get your feet wet, is you should have some sort of digital payment gateway set up. Now, the reason why I like this, and I've been talking about this for a long time, is actually just recently gotten better. So the first one is Stripe. So what you'll need for this is, it's pretty easy. You need your EIN, business name, and address, and you can get set up. Phone number, email. Again, you could probably use non-business stuff there if you wanted to, but Stripe is a great place to start. They will run 3% on fees, pretty similar to PayPal and Cash App and Venmo and all these other things. But the difference is that Stripe is actively building out their stack. So they are going to be one of these companies that either get bought out or are one of the key players as time goes on. And so you want to establish that history there, because recently they opened up access to loan products that are based off of the amount of ACH volume you're doing each month. So based on the amount of money you're running through them as a payment processor, you can now use that as collateral to get a loan. Again, that's huge. So we're talking about ecosystems and building relationships all the time. At least try to run 10% of your business through Stripe. Now the junky, kind of stepchild out of this is PayPal. You could set up a business PayPal account. Again, you're gonna get nicked with 3%. You're gonna get all kinds of issues where they lock down your account, hold funds, you have reserve funds, all kinds of Mickey Mouse stuff. I mean, going back to 2013, I've been using PayPal, and I've got stories, a mile long about what's happened, lawsuits, etc. So PayPal, not that great, but if you've got no other options, PayPal, I guess, would be a great option. And then I would put everything else, like Venmo. I think that they'll try and tie into business loan products. I know that on the PayPal business side, once you get over 40 or 42,000 a year, they will allow you to get the business loan product. And so that's all done through WebBank. And they'll allow you to kind of, again, collateralize your the amount of payments you're running through there to get a fronted amount of money through a loan, right? Venmo, I think similar. I've never really used Venmo, so I don't know. And in Cash App, I don't think they're gonna do something like that, but Cash App is just a really easy way to send money to somebody. And you can register as a business as well on there, and it takes just a couple minutes to set up. It's really easy, and so I just like that for ease of use. So anyways, there's a quick little rundown of payment gateways and how to actually accept payments. Because in Stripe, you can literally just log into your Stripe account and type in a credit card and charge them for a product. You go register the product or set up the product in your Stripe account, and then you can take payments over the phone. You can set up payment forms. It's really, really easy to use. So there you have it. There's everything that you need to get set up to get your Dun Bradstreet profile and number. Okay, so there you have it. There's everything that you need to basically set up your business, get established, and get a Dun Bradstreet number. The only other thing I wanted to add is that submitting your information to Dun Bradstreet is free, even though there's like this paid expedited version on there. I think it's upwards of like $2,000. You don't need that, even though it kind of makes it look like you do. Do it for free. It takes about 30 days to get it reviewed and set up. And that's it. Just leave it alone, okay? So that's everything you need for that. Set up your business. We talked about payment gateways, other details, other not so common things. There you have it. Comment below if you got something to say or a question. Like this video, again, helps with the algorithms. I can't say that enough. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new here, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Be on the lookout, more videos coming soon.